Hi, and welcome to the Hyperinformation Literacy Module, Objective 2, Video 1. In this video, Head of Reference Services at the Emporia State University Library, Terry Summy, will explain the criteria for evaluating resources. By the end of this video, you will be able to evaluate articles to determine whether they are appropriate for your research topic. You will use defined criteria, such as the CRAAP test, to evaluate the source you located to determine whether it supports your research topic. You will determine if the articles are relevant for your research needs. You will use the background information to determine the authority of the author of the article. And you will examine the resources cited in the article to verify the accuracy of the article. Let's get started.
Now that you have found resources on your topic, your next step is to evaluate the sources that you located using specific criteria. One test that many librarians use for the evaluation of sources is the CRAAP test. CRAAP stands for Currency, Relevancy, Authority, Accuracy, and Purpose. The CRAAP acronym helps you to remember the criteria that make up the CRAAP test so that you can decide if the information that you found is good or crap. You won't need to use the same level of evaluation for all resources. Sources such as peer-reviewed journal articles and published books have already undergone a review process. However, you will want to look at some of the criteria for those works to determine if it is a good resource for your research or not. However, for some resources like those found on the internet, you will want to carefully use the criteria to evaluate them. In the rest of this video, we will present the criteria that makes up the CRAAP test and provide you with different questions that you can ask for each element to determine whether or not that criteria is met. The first letter is C. C is for currency. Currency looks at the publication date of the resource, but it also looks at the date of the sources that were used in researching the article, book, or internet resource. Questions that you can ask include: when was the information published or posted? Has it been revised or updated? Does your topic require current information, or can older sources work? The next letter, R, stands for relevancy. Relevancy looks at whether or not this resource is relevant and useful for your research project. Questions to consider to determine relevance includes: how relevant is this resource that you found for your research project? Does it meet your information needs by answering your research question? Who is the intended audience of the article, book, or website? Is the resource written for scholars, researchers, and students? Or is it a general resource that anyone can understand? Is the information appropriate for your needs? Not too easy, not too hard. And finally, would you be comfortable using this source in your research paper? Next come the two A's. The first A is for authority. Authority refers to the author, sponsor, or publisher of the source. Questions that you may want to answer include: who is the author, sponsor, or publisher of the article, book, or internet resource? What is their educational and professional background? Do they have the credential or knowledge to write in this area? Does the article or resource include contact information? To find out information about the author, you might want to do a web search on the author to see what you can find. Often in scholarly articles, a brief biography will be presented, which may be useful too. The other A is for accuracy. Accuracy looks at how reliable and correct the information is that is presented in the resource. One way to determine accuracy is by looking at the sources that are cited by the author in the bibliography. That will tell you where the information came from. You can take the resources that are used in the article and check them in Google Scholar to check the citations, or just to see if other sources have cited them in their research. Other questions might include: has the article been reviewed or refereed? If it's a study, does the information presented have supporting evidence? Does the language or tone seem unbiased and free of emotion? And are there spelling, grammar, or typographical errors? The last letter is P. This refers to the purpose of the article or why it exists. Therefore, the first question to ask is: what is the purpose of the resource? Is the purpose of the article, book, or internet resource to inform, teach, sell, persuade, or entertain? Other questions are: do the authors make their purpose clear? Often authors will specifically state the purpose of the article or book in the introduction. Sometimes this is harder to find on websites. Also, is the information fact, opinion, or propaganda? Does the point of view appear to be objective, or is it biased? Using these criteria in the CRAAP test can help you evaluate the resources that you find. Just because a resource doesn't meet all the criteria doesn't mean it's a bad source. Sometimes you have to use your best judgment to determine whether or not you want to use this source in your research and cite it in your paper or research project.